Alright, this is another driving video. Um, it must be that that driving stimulates the mind or something, because it tends to be a good time for me to talk to you guys. So I'll be mostly looking at the road, but I did just want to kind of touch on why cannabis is so fundamentally different than anything else that we use as medicine. And, there's some really interesting reasons for that, or really any other substance in general. And kind of the root of it all is the fact that all human beings, and also human beings is only one of all species in the animal kingdom, have what's called the cannabinoid system, or the endocannabinoid system, sorry. And what the endocannabinoid system is, it's receptors that you have in all of your vital organs, most densely in all parts of your brain, and also uh, chemical compounds that you create called endogenous cannabinoids that help trigger them, affect them in certain ways. And actually what they do is at a cellular level, they kind of regulate all metabolic and sensory processes, which, medicinally, almost everything that you can think of, every ailment, every function that your body has to take care of, things like that, they all in some way boil down to sensory or metabolism, autoimmune diseases. Um, I mean, basically what it is sensory in terms of electrical impulses. Simultaneously, there's billions or hundreds of billions or maybe trillions of electrical impulses shooting throughout your body at all times. Your nervous system is really what makes you who you are. It's your capacity to think. It's almost what sets you in motion as a living being, or is anyone who has a memory, as a unique individual. But also metabolically, in that we need to eat, and at a cellular level, those cells need nourishment and to break down energy and utilize it, again on the order of hundreds of billions of times simultaneously throughout your body. So what the cannabinoid receptors do is they kind of act as agents that help regulate all those processes. And so unlike Western medicine in general, which will look at a symptom and look at it very, very acutely. Imagine looking at a wall through a straw, and they'll try and pinpoint a receptor or something that's releasing too much of a hormone or too little of a hormone or a certain chemical that's causing a certain issue. And they'll give you something that will alter that receptor in a way that will have it release more or less of said hormone, in hopes of fixing the problem. And a lot of times that creates a lot of collateral damage outside of that very minuscule viewing window of the problem, and that's where a lot of problems arise. And you hear of side effects. That's essentially what side effects are. Is that, yeah, you're given something to affect a certain issue, but it causes a whole slew of other problems, which they're happy to deal with, because then they've got a whole slew of other drugs to give you for those problems, and the cycle continues. But anyways, what makes marijuana so starkly different is the fact that it just kind of acts as an agent that can kind of regulate all these things in a way that your body may have deficiencies in doing itself. Everyone I mentioned has endocannabinoids. We have, some people have a deficiency of them, but they all have endocannabinoids that your body is making, and you have these receptors that, again, are the agents of regulation for all the processes. But what's most interesting is that cannabis is the only known plant in the entire plant kingdom to create these compounds that mimic our endocannabinoids that we have within us that we're making. Very interesting. And there's a whole slew of cannabinoids. THC is the most well-known one. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, THC is the stuff that gets you high. But also there's quite a few others. There's cannabidiol, which may or may not be CBD. There's CBN. But it's really interesting, that science that has come into play in looking at these things. And the fact is that it's incredible how unique the plant is, and that it's the only known plant to create these compounds when, again, every species in the animal kingdom creates them and has receptors for them that they fit lock and key with. So that's really what makes marijuana starkly different as a medicine than other than other conventional things that are made in labs. And you don't really hear much of that. You do hear a lot of how many different things marijuana can help treat, things that are almost counterintuitive because they seem to contradict each other, such as how it can treat obesity and also treat appetite deficiencies like anorexia, or help AIDS and cancer patients with their appetites. Those seem counterintuitive that it could do both of those things, but the reason for that is that metabolic regulation that's involved in the cannabinoid receptors. So wanted to touch on that. I appreciate you listening. Hopefully it wasn't too scatterbrained. I didn't get us in a crash or anything. So shoot me your questions if you're more interested, and thanks for listening.